We're going to do a full, check. And they've got poisons that metabolize out of the body. Again, that on top of about 100 other things, we have to look at Breitbart as a possible murder. I mean, that's crazy. He says, I'm coming out in the morning with something that'll destroy Obama, and then alludes to Obama at communist meetings. And then, as I predicted, I said in a few weeks, because there's threats going on, they're going to release, if they release some milquetoast nothing, oh, look, here's one of his professors at a meeting calling for socialism or whatever. Wow, that's really bombshell. And here is a deer in the woods. Here is a bear doing what they do in the woods. I mean, here is a bird flying in the air. I mean, this was nothing. So he's going to bring out this bombshell. He goes to a restaurant, hangs out with a bunch of people, drops dead, and then we're told, nothing to worry about, go back to sleep. And we're told immediately, don't ask questions or you're crazy. Oh, no, we just have known liars running things who've been caught assassinating people, who say they've got hit teams, saying the president will order secretly murdered whoever they want. They're admitting they spy on everybody without warrants now. I personally get death threats over the years where they want you to know, by the way, I just saw you let your dog out in the back. I'm going to cut your head off. Yeah, that little dog with the blue collar. I am going to cut your head off. Do you understand me? Oh, you got family in the hospital. Hope that, this is the type of stuff, folks. So they're listening to the phones. They've got armies of hardcore criminals that have been put in positions that are mercenaries who like hurting people, who like taking over. It's called tyranny. Tyranny. And we've been sold it's sexy, it's cool, it's fun. Yeah, if you want your wages cut, your bank accounts drained, taxes and fines and fees put on everything, and society collapsing with forced inoculations and chemtrails, then you're going to love the New World Order. Call's coming up. Hey, I went with the crew last night and saw a late-night showing of Batman. I haven't had a chance to talk to the crew yet because I walked out of the movie towards the end. It was so bad. And we were there getting popcorn and stuff, and they're like, what are you going to see, Batman? Like, oh, man, awesome, incredible. Oh, you just wait. And, I mean, we are, I mean, I can go watch fantasy. I can go watch, I'm already reviewing it, aren't I? I said to go to your calls. I can enjoy Green Lantern, the Spider-Man movies, Star Wars. I mean, I can go watch fantasy stuff. It's not that I'm like, oh, this is kid stuff. It's when there's no plot developed. It's all just weird scenes of posing. The Batman fights look like it was the scene with Captain Kirk fighting the Lizard, where, I mean, it's like slow motion. It was horrible. It was a horrible movie, nothing but a mindless vehicle to deliver the idea of martial law and checkpoints, and the police are a gang that are going to riot and defeat the Occupy Wall Street people, who were AKA the Second French Revolution, and the idea that any protest is terrorism. I mean, it was just so ridiculous. And the cops are rushing up on Bane, and they're firing hundreds of machine guns at him, and like one cop gets shot, and the bullets all hit the ground and spark. It's just total. There you go. Ha ha. They are, if you're not watching this, I guess radio listeners. That's enough. Actually, that's a better fight scene than the movie. I mean, it was horrible. All right, I'm going to shut up. I said we're taking calls from Denver. Julian, Joe, Mike, we'll get to all of you here. We'll even take some of you while Wayne Madsen's on. He's coming on to give us his take on it. By the way, I keep getting questions about a couple shirts my wife got me that are recreations of mountain climbing dress shirts from the 60s. And so that's what these shirts are I'm wearing. They're not Boy Scout shirts, but I like them, and that's what I'm wearing in the summer. And I have 2 shirts with them, and that's what I'm side issue, but it's become quite a big debate whenever I wear one of these shirts. What are they? Is it a military shirt? No, it's not. It's a rock climbing shirt. Not that I'm really a rock climber, but I do like to hike. So what do they call it, an alpiner? Okay, let's go ahead and take a call. Shut up, Jones, and go to the calls. Joe in Colorado, what's your take on all this? Them saying, Mommy says he did it, basically, but she never said that. What do you think of all this?
Yeah, first, my heart goes out to the family.
Yes.
But I just think that, it's blatant. The dude's not talking, looking crazy in court, bulletproof vest, all this stuff, doesn't shoot back at the cops. It's just, I'm a veteran. So, I've been awake for a minute listening to you for a while. My first time calling and getting through, but, it's crazy. I just can't believe it.
Well, what about the fact now that they admit he was on a bunch of psychotropic drugs, which can naturally make you go crazy and do stuff like this, like Sergeant Bales? Why are they even charging him? He was clearly completely insane. But the issue is this guy's totally covered up. Everybody says they're multiple shooters, but within minutes, oh no, we caught him. Here he is. We're not going to give you any details. And then they call the mother up and say, yeah, your son got red hair. Is this his name? Yeah, that's him. You got your guy. Well, why? And then they hang up the phone on her and announce she said he did it, basically. And she's coming out going, I've been telling him for days I didn't say that. She's having to do press conferences now. Why would they want to say, yeah, his mama says he's the guy that did it, when she didn't say that? I mean, boy, isn't that strong evidence right there?
And exactly, because my friend of mine, he was the one that first told me about it before I heard about it. He said, yeah, the mom, actually a couple people told me that. The mom said that, yeah, you got the right one, because they wanted to get everybody's first jump on it. So now anything they hear after that is crazy.
Well, again, that's the telltale sign, is when it's scripted. Listen, they also jumped the gun on scripting. On 9/11, an hour before on CNN, they go, Building 7, the 47-story building has fallen. And Aaron Brown was on it, and he lived in New York. He turned around and he went, I'm not sure if that's right, though, because it's right behind him. And then BBC on 2 channels, the exact same thing, said it's fallen in its own footprint from fires. What a beautiful collapse. And I said, BBC first said those weren't real videos, and they said, okay, they are real, but we lost the tape. And I said, I know who did it. I know who gets your feed. You got an internal Reuters feed, and years later they admitted, yes, Reuters had reported it fell perfectly as it did with the cover story an hour before it did. And then they tried to cover that up, just like they said Lee Harvey Oswald had been captured before he'd even been arrested and no one knew his name. They printed that all over a certain time zone, Australia, New Zealand, and some other areas. Again, it's scripted, and they get caught scripting. Anything else, sir?
Yeah, on the end on that, it's a culture. I was in the military.
I'll tell you what, stay there. I got Wayne Madsen coming up, but he'll only talk about 5 minutes or so before we start going to calls to get his take on what witnesses say. Stay there, Joe. Then we'll go to Julian, Greg, Mike, and others, all from the Denver area, straight ahead. And we've got former NSA officer, just an incredible journalist, Wayne Madsen, joining us to give us his take.
We're on the...
All right, we are going to be going to Wayne Madsen of WayneMadsenReport.com here in just a moment. And then throughout the next 30 minutes, we'll take calls from people in Colorado for any questions you have or comments or statements you want to make about what's happened. We were just talking to Joe in Colorado, who's a veteran, saying he and his friends aren't buying it, especially now that the mother is coming out and saying, I didn't say he did it. They called up and said, is this your son? Is this his name? Does he have red hair? And she said, yeah, that's him. You got your man. Click. And for days, she's been calling the police, and the father has going, and now they're saying they're going to stand by him and don't know what really happened. No kidding. He can't talk. He's obviously drugged out of his mind. I mean, folks, when you see a drugged up person in the courtroom and the whole system says they did it, that's Operation Northwoods, folks. They commit the shooting. The witnesses are all saying multiple shooters. I'm ranting. I'm sorry. The whole thing. But we'll get Wayne Madsen's take. I don't know what Wayne's take's going to be. I just know he was on a few months ago, and he said he was very worried about new false flags. Paul Watson's finally going to get that article out today with all the Obama officials saying a mass shooting would help people reconnect with him. We have video clips of this from even Hardball a few months ago. The memos, Glenn Beck coming out and saying they want to stage a new Oklahoma and blame it on me. People are finally starting to get this. But we'll get Wayne's take in just one moment. Here's Ice-T on Denver TV. And as usual, it's not an American doing the interview. Nothing against people with British accents. It's just, why are all the newscasters now from England or Europe or something telling us, like, Piers Morgan, turn our guns in, or Felipe Calderon saying, turn our guns in. And I love what Ice-T says. He says, yeah, I'll give up my guns when you give yours up. The government's going to have guns. When other people have the guns and you don't, you're in trouble. That's why gun sales have exploded. People get it, folks. They know. We did the math. Kurt Nimmo showed the statistics. I mean, it is one of the rarest things. On average, there's about 15 people killed a year in mass shootings in groups of 5 or more. There's quite a few, 2 or 3 getting shot, and it's mainly gang-related. You see that stuff almost every day in Chicago. And, you know, that's their problem. That's nature's way of, you know, people. I'm sad it's happening. It's a very, you know, corrupt drug culture. People should get away from it. But the point is, I don't lose my guns because a bunch of thugs kill themselves but I'm ranting. Let's go to this quick clip of Ice-T telling it like it is, and I just love it. Here it is.
Well, I give up my gun when everybody else does.
And is that
doesn't that make sense?
Well,
doesn't that make sense? I mean, if you were if there were guns here, would you want to be the only person without one?
So do you carry guns routinely at home? I mean, you have a gun at home?
Yeah, it's legal in the United States. It's part of our Constitution. You know, the right to bear arms is because that's the last form of defense against tyranny. Not to hunt. It's to protect yourself from the police.
And do you see any link between that and these sorts of incidents?
No. Nah, not really. You know what I'm saying? If somebody wants to kill people, you know, they don't need a gun to do it.
Makes it easier, though, doesn't it?
Not really. You can use you can strap explosives on your body. They do that all the time.
So when there's the inevitable backlash of the anti-gun lobby as a result of this incident, as there always is.
Well, that's not going to change anything in the United States. Nah, the United States is based on guns. You know, like KRS says, you'll never have justice on stolen land. So it's not going to change.
KRS-One, he's a listener of the show. He's in the Obama deception. And we've got to be honest about that. This is a warlike culture, the most warlike in history, quite frankly. And you're not getting our guns, okay? That's the end of it. And I totally agree with Ice-T right there. But, I mean, he says cops. That's for the general public, you know, to get it. He means corrupt, tyrannical government. Let's go to Wayne Madsen, author, researcher, WayneMadsenReport.com. He's got a new book out on Obama that's excellent there on the site. He is a Washington, D.C.-based investigative journalist, author, syndicated columnist. He's written for The Village Voice, The Progressive, Counterpunch, Online Journal, and more. His columns have appeared in the Miami Herald, Houston Chronicle, Philadelphia Inquirer, amongst others. He's been on all the major TV, reports on national security issues. I wanted to get his take briefly today, too, on the fact that NSA suddenly is like, okay, we spy on you in real time, no warrants. You're all being spied on. It's totally illegal. We just do it. Sit down, shut up. By the way, there was a drill running, of course, of the exact stuff happening in Denver. You know, at the same university he attended, a movie theater being attacked and a guy using bombs to divert people as he shoots them. Wow. Wayne Madsen, again, formerly in submarine warfare, then was in the National Security Agency, worked for a lot of big telecommunication corporations as well. He joins us right now. He's a member of the Society of Professional Journalists and the National Press Club. Wayne, I don't know your view on this whole thing. But I've got a sneaking suspicion because I know you're always out there investigating the same info I am. Wayne Madsen, what do you say about what's happened in Denver?
Okay, let's take a look at Mr. Holmes, where he was back in May. He was on one of 6 individuals who received a National Institutes of Health grant for neuroscience training at the University of Colorado at the Anschutz Medical Campus. That used to be the Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center before the Base Realignment and Closure Commission had it privatized. And in May, Mr. Holmes presented a paper at the university, at the medical school, and get the name. It was on micro-DNA biomarkers in a class titled Biological Basis of Psychiatric and Neurological Disorders. That's kind of strange, since we're now told that, you know, this guy's a crazed lunatic. But it gets even more interesting. He did a summer internship at the Salk Institute, which is part of the University of California at San Diego and La Jolla. And the Salk Institute, I mean, they've done great things. I mean, Jonas Salk, the pioneer on the anti-polio vaccine. Yeah,
with 11 cancer viruses.
They also, the Salk Institute, back about the same time frame, was involved in research to create basically peak soldiers for the battlefield, where they were investigating